Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Well, okay, it is though. Making sure the chat was coming up. Well, my hair. Oh, well, hello everyone. How are you doing? Look, I got on the classic shirt. Now, come on, this is old school here, old school with the LP.org on the back. But anyway, hopefully I'll be recording my radio show later tonight. I don't know if I'll have time. However, this is going to be a short show. Say that 10 times fast. That's like she sells seashells by the seashore. First, let's do the obligatory grifting. I'm going to try to be a halfway decent YouTuber by saying subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And please like or dislike the video. YouTube really doesn't care one way or another. It boosts the algorithm. And hello, everyone. And Mike, I did not think I was 10 minutes early unless Restream bumped it up. I thought I scheduled it for 7:45. It's been a horribly busy day. This is going to be a short show, as I said, because not that much has been going on. Oh, also, all super chats matter. And Patreon. I do need to re-update my Patreon because I did get a new patron over the past couple days with one of the most interesting Patreon names, but I haven't yet updated the closing credits. Been very, very just super busy. What I've been doing today actually isn't necessarily LNC work. It is, but it isn't. You may have seen the mailer went out today. Email, if you're not getting the National Party emails because they were so terrible before, you should get them now. So, go and resubscribe to the national emails. One way you can do that is by doing that contact form to the LNC, because when you fill that out, there's a little check mark if the form's the same as it used to be that says you want to receive mailings, and that will update your preferences if for some reason you happen to opt out in the past. But an email came out today that was basically meet your new officers. Everyone's saying I'm early. I must have messed up Restream. I thought I set it for 7:45. I thought I set it for 7:45. I don't know what to say. So an email went out today, meet your new officers, and I really liked what our new development director did with it. I'm assuming it was her plans. I'm going to give her credit whether it was her plans or not. Good job. I need to get more centered and screen here. Yeah. So she basically asked us to do fundraising pitches in our introduction for projects that we wanted to raise dedicated funds to. So, of course, whenever I do that, it is for the LPDA and the Historical Committee. So if you got that and you were considering making a donation to the National Party, would certainly appreciate a donation to LPDA. But in any event, I knew we were going to get a bunch of signups to LPDA, which we have. We got like 10 new signups to LPDA today for editors, some of whom have really gotten to work. And I was so behind with LPDA because of my campaign. Like, I hadn't done any patrolling since the beginning of April. So today was just an LPDA day. I've spent all day today on LPDA, which is why I felt inspired to put on the historical shirt. So busy, busy, busy day. I'm still catching up, but I want to do a weekly-ish LNC update to keep you guys up to date. And not that much has gone on, so I figured, great, I don't have much time. Rather than putting it off to do it for 2 weeks, let's just do an update today, and I can answer questions that you all may have. And again, always appreciate super chats. And I'll light the Ron Paul candle. I don't have my match here, but next time, any super chats, you get Ron Paul lit in your honor. And I had a Twitch comment. I know you guys on YouTube can't see it, asking what the cross necklace is for. What are cross necklaces usually for? Because I'm a Christian. So we will continue with that. And Ron was a Libertarian, then he went to the Republicans, boo hiss, but he's a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party and is a Libertarian in his ideology. He's one of the exceptions, I would say. I normally don't have anything good to say about any Republicans, but Ron is a hero. I know you guys can't, well, you could see. No, actually, the Twitch comments aren't even coming up. Oh, yeah, they are. They are coming up on the screen. So if you want to see the Twitch comments, they are up on the screen. And before, I'm just going to answer one more question from Kinja Khan on Twitch. Rand, that apple fell far from that tree. So we will just leave that at that. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Universe. Truly appreciate it. I'm going to, I think, start doing like a lot of these streams more exclusively on Twitch, maybe. I should really be building up Twitch, but I'm like boomerish. I'm 3 years off from being a boomer, so Twitch is for y'all young people. But back to what we were doing. So the LNC update, super chats, I'll light Ron Paul in your honor, and Patreon. Okay, back to business. So what's gone on with the Lnc List this week? Obviously, I just told you that email that went out regarding, meet your new officers. Oh, formerly known as Smokin' Llama. Okay, now I know who Mr. Universe is. So what's gone, it's been a relatively quiet week, though you wouldn't know that on Facebook, because I think some of the people who aren't happy with the results of the Reno reset are probably pretty disappointed, because I think they were expecting high drama, and we actually are pretty mild on the Lnc list. So really, there's been some manufactured outrage. There's a funny group that just got started. I mean, Angela started it, which makes it even funnier. A group where we complain about Angela. So go join that group because she turned me into a newt. It did get better, but she did in fact turn me into a newt. But what has gone on in the Lnc officially, rather than just the Facebook shenanigans, is we got a resolution going regarding Yemen. And that's the first thing I want to discuss. So I am going to read it aloud because I like keeping comments on the screen, so I'm not going to share my screen unless I absolutely have to. But let's read this. Hello, Carlin. Let's read this Yemen resolution out loud. So this is a pending ballot. It is due on June 23rd, but it will be done before then because we don't want to miss the news cycle. So there's just a few people left to vote. So it's kind of long, but I'm going to read it anyway. So it's a resolution in support of HJ Res 87, directing the removal of United States armed forces from hostilities in the Republic of Yemen that have not been authorized by Congress. And hello, JJ. So, it reads, and this is going to be sexy talk now because this is in resolution format, baby, so nothing sexier than this. Whereas the 2001 AUMF authorized the president to deploy forces against the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, but has been used by the Obama, Trump, and Biden administrations to administer indirect military support to Al-Qaeda and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia against their ethnic and religious enemies in the Republic of Yemen. Whereas this military aid has been misused for thousands of airstrikes and operations manifested as war crimes and a bloody war of genocide, leaving hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, and children dead, starving, homeless, and without the basic necessities to sustain life. Whereas the death and suffering is fueled by a racketeering scheme at the expense and impoverishment of the American taxpayers to fatten the pockets of the military-industrial complex and their shareholders on Wall Street. Whereas the people of the Republic of Yemen are not enemies of the American people, but those who have survived this brutal conflict with their families and loved ones laying dead in the sands of the Arabian Peninsula may very well seek retribution. And whereas HJ Res 87 seeks to halt the sharing of foreign intelligence, the deployment of armed forces, and providing of logistical support to the offensive coalition laying waste to the Republic of Yemen. Resolved, that the Libertarian Party National Committee calls on all peace-loving people of the United States to lobby Congress to pass HJ Res 87 post-haste. That's another word we do not use nearly enough. And resolve that the Libertarian Party National Committee calls on President Joe Biden and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin to immediately recall all of the United States armed forces deployed to Yemen, and for Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to immediately apply diplomatic pressure to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and their coalition to end the bloodshed in the Arabian Peninsula. Alrighty, so that is the resolution that's going on right now. Everyone who has voted so far has voted yes. Per our bylaws, in case you didn't know, all public policy resolutions require a 3/4 vote of the LNC. Not of the entire LNC, a 3/4 vote. So 3/4 of those voting. Abstentions don't count negatively and non-votes don't count negatively. But this is easily going to get 3/4. So I wanted to talk about this because I think we've all learned, even those of you who are very young, you've probably learned by now that you can't please everybody. And there's some people you can't please ever. They're just determined to be mad. Even at my worst dislike of last term's LNC, I gave credit where credit was due. Not everything they did was bad. That's nearly impossible for everything anyone could do to be bad. I mean, if anyone could have done it, probably some of them could have achieved that accomplishment. But that's very rare. As I said, there are no devils and there are no angels. Everybody is a little bit of both. But what is so surprising, and again, people may settle down, but there are just certain members and non-members, people who have long since left or repudiated the Libertarian Party, for whom this LNC can do no good. Angela could go outside, point to the sky, and say it's blue, and there would be long discussions on the usual suspect Facebook groups talking about how it's technically not blue, and blue is racist, or something to that effect. And, you know, blue is irrational and repugnant. So, you'd think that this would be a resolution that everyone could get behind. Pretty non-controversial to me. But libertarians excel at getting lathered up. And I say that as one of the libertarians who excel at getting lathered up. So, yeah, there's a controversy on this that basically boils down to all wars matter. I guess, you know, you're not allowed to say the other all blank matter, but apparently you're allowed to say all wars matter, because that's basically what the objection has been. The objection has been, God, I should have worn my pearls. I need to get some fake pearls here to start clutching. The objection basically has been, what about the Ukraine? Or what about this? Or what about that? Yes, the U.S. military involvement sucks in a lot of places. Yes, they all matter, and they all need to be condemned. But we're talking about Yemen right now. I mean, that's like almost exactly what I would say, because I'm one of those people, don't get triggered in comments. I had no problem and support the saying, Black Lives Matter. I have no problem with that saying. And I find people who would respond to that saying with all lives matter to be very tone deaf. Yes, of course all lives matter, but we're talking about black lives right now. Is that okay? Yes, all wars matter, but we're talking about Yemen right now. I mean, I don't go to a cancer fundraiser and go, all diseases matter. Of course they do, but we're talking about cancer right now. So right now, we are talking about Yemen. I just cannot believe that libertarians would find something to get upset about with that. But we are overachievers in the perpetual state of indignation. I know, because I'm always in a perpetual state of indignation. I'm getting indignant about this. So I'm proving my own point that we love getting lathered up. So I'm getting lathered up in response to the lathering up, which will, I'm sure, provoke some more lathering up that I can get lathered up over. It's turtles all the way down, baby. But yeah, okay, if you want to be upset about a Yemen resolution, go on with your bad self. And why Yemen now? So here's the conspiracy theory: is we're doing a Yemen resolution because we're all in thrall to Scott Horton. He's a Svengali, if you didn't know. He's the all-powerful Svengali Scott Horton, who apparently has hypnotized us into only caring about Yemen, apparently. No. If you didn't get from that resolution, there's pending legislation. That is why we're doing a Yemen resolution right now. It's not that complicated. So now that I answered the all wars matter, yes, they do. All wars suck. All wars suck. And there will be more resolutions, I am sure. Now, let me tell you my personal opinion on resolutions. I used to be a big fan of them, and I understand new LNC members being a big fan of resolutions. Because when I was a new LNC member, like, I could have just basically pumped out resolutions like no one's business. When you first get on the LNC, resolutions are like hot topic, man. You love it. It's crack. It's crack for new LNC members. So I get it. They're exciting. They're fun. You're in a position where you have a bully pulpit and you want to use it. And I encourage it. Me personally now, though, having been on the LNC, this is my 6th year, God help me. resolutions are mostly feel good. They are. However, I have hope for this term that they will be more than just feel good. In the past, they have really just been feel good things. And you want to know what? I have no problem with pumping out red meat for our supporters. We need some encouragement. There's nothing wrong with encouraging libertarians. We're not winning elections right now in any great numbers. We have won some local races. And society really seems like it's going to hell in a handbasket. So if making a resolution makes the base pumped up, good. Good. But I have hope for this term that resolutions will do so much more. There have already been press releases issued on the ones we did regarding Edward Snowden and Defend the Guard. So we are using these to try to get earned media. It's always hit or miss with that. I learned when I was communications director with the Libertarian Party of Colorado, you just got to pump the stuff out. And you never know what's going to get picked up. So in the past, I think they have been mostly feel good, because what would happen is we'd pass them and the only place they would appear is in a set of minutes. I'm going to be pushing, if it's not already on the website, it might already be, to have a section on the website for resolutions so that everyone can see them and use them for press releases for your local affiliates and your state affiliates. But we are really trying to make use of these resolutions, so I am hopefully optimistic that it's not just feel good. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. If you want to be upset about Yemen, the Yemen resolution, okay. Is there a resolution you think you'd like us to consider? Send it to me. Or if you think resolutions are a waste of time, write me and let me know. Like, the funny thing is, for all of, here I'm going to use another word, and it's just because I want to use this word. Please don't get offended. It's just like, I'm exercising my vocabulary today. I like big words, and I cannot lie. For all the caterwauling on Facebook, you would think we got a lot of letters, but we didn't. I'm not sure we got, I got a text message. I got a text message about the Yemen resolution suggesting a word change, which we did. Changing the military has been used to the military has been misused. A military vet sent me that suggestion, which was incorporated. So it would be really, really interesting for, to hear more suggestions, because it could have been made probably better. But let's address some of the criticisms on the Yemen resolution. And there was a paragraph deleted. There was a criticism, and I don't even remember which one it was, but it seemed to go off on a rabbit trail, and that was member feedback, and that paragraph was deleted, and I think that was really good. Connor did a great job with this resolution. Now I'm going to talk about some of the criticisms that I don't think have merit. I just told you some that I thought did. Some of the criticisms were that this is far too dramatic. I am sorry, not sorry. By sorry, I mean I'm not sorry. No, you can't be overly dramatic about overseas military adventurism and the murder of these people. You can't be overly dramatic about that. So to be upset, to say we used words as bloody war of genocide, ask yourself, do you think the people over there think that's hyperbolic or overstating it? Should we have been politer about it? To me, this is low key. You want to hear some, spitting out, some invective. Let me write it. So, people were upset over the words war crimes. They are war crimes. If you don't think they are, I don't get why you're in the Libertarian Party. And it is a bloody war of genocide. And it has left hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, and children dead throughout all of our military in adventurism. And then another objection was that we used the word racketeering scheme. Well, I'm sorry. The robbing of the American people, through all of this taxation is a racketeering scheme done by an organized criminal society known by the government. So, I have no problem with the very, very hard words of this resolution. And for those of you who are bothered by it, well, okay, be bothered. But I don't think we can condemn this type of thing strongly enough. And what really surprised me, Mr. Universe, this isn't an email ballot, so it's not yet passed. If you are, every single one of you who come to my shows, you should be following the Lnc list. So let me see if I can get a link. 1 second, because I don't think I have access to the chat in the program I'm using right now. Yeah, and I'm not signed in under my LP address. Let me see if I can sign in under my LP address. And then let me see if I can somehow get access to the chat, because that would be nice to give you guys links to these things. Why isn't it giving me a link? Well, this would probably do it. Hold on. Restream, and I think if I go to settings, no, that's not it. Chat app, open in browser. Okay, I might have it here for you. Okay, it's gonna come up as Restream, but that's me. This should be the link. It should come up in a minute there. That should be the link. All right, so that's what's going on with the Yemen resolution. That should be the entire link. You can see how everyone voted. There's no debate really going on this. We did debate in a different thread. So let's go back. So that's that resolution. The last night, the motion, remember MinutesGate, the motion to substitute my minutes, because, you know, I was Lnc secretary, even if the prior term wouldn't acknowledge it, for Mr. Hagan's minutes has passed. Those minutes are up on the website. So November 21st minutes are there. If you've been following the Lnc list, you will see there's a ton of emails of me talking about amendments I'm either going to be making to some previously approved minutes that had errors, or some substitutions. I'm not going to do them as email ballots because it would be like 10 ballots. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do it all either combined motion, or I'm going to do it at the next thing that's coming up is an email ballot that passed. 1 second here. Let me find it. It's monthly e-meetings. I told you guys that this email ballot was going last week. Well, it has passed. We will be having monthly e-meetings on the first Sunday of every month. And hello, Latina Libertarian. We will be having monthly e-meetings first Sunday, unless there's an in-person meeting scheduled either in the 3 weeks prior or the 3 weeks after. So we are having an e-meeting on July 3rd. I hope everyone does get there, does come. It's supposed to start at 7 p.m. Eastern, but there's an email ballot going right now because it is July 3rd, a holiday weekend. Angela asked for us to move it to 8 p.m., and that will likely pass. So I will be posting that notice on lp.org. You will start to get notices for things now, and I do hope to see you there. Speaking of meetings, this isn't really a meeting, but Monday, this is so exciting, Angela's going to be on Tim Pool's show. So please tune in. And what we're trying to encourage people to do is do super chats. It helps promote Pool and encourages them to have more libertarians on, you know. I can say, as a tiny little YouTuber, we love super chats. Hint, hint. But send him some super chats. And thank you, Latina. Libertarian, for the makeup compliment. I do enjoy makeup very much, and nails, as you guys know. So, I forgot what I was saying. So, Angela's going to be on Tim Pool. We are trying to get people to do super chats during the Tim Pool show. And in the super chat, put the link to join the Libertarian Party as a dues paying member. So, make an investment. Encourage Tim. It's a thank you for him having Angela on, because I'm sure Angela is just going to be fire. And also, maybe we will raise some money for the LP, and maybe we'll get some new memberships. So please listen live and then do lp.org/join or /donate. Maybe put our 1-800 number. Let's encourage people. Because remember, one thing that was said by nearly everyone who ran for your new LNC is, do we want disaffected Democrats and Republicans in the Libertarian Party? Of course we do. But we've missed the low-hanging fruit. We want libertarians in the Libertarian Party. And up until hopefully this term, a lot of libertarians have thought the LP has been a joke. And we need to get them into the LP. And if we happen to get disaffected Democrats and Republicans at the same time, wonderful. But we need to go after the libertarians. They already believe what we do. We just need to get them into the political wing. So you can help do that on Monday. And you can encourage Angela as well, because this is probably her biggest appearance since becoming chair. And it's super exciting. And also, there is a Westward. For those of you who are in Colorado, I think every state has, like, I call it like a street rag, that's for free at head shops and record stores and stuff like that. And the big one in Colorado is called Westward. It's super, super popular. Westward has been following my story of what, getting removed as a whistleblower, because, they're interested in the LP of Colorado. I'm very typically a person who does a lot of the press interviews. So I had done an interview with Westward about what was going on with our convention when we were having Dave Smith as a guest, and she interviewed me about our convention system versus a primary system, blah, 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 politics. But she got very interested, the reporters is she got very interested in my story, and she said, after Reno, let's have an interview, because we'll find out what happened with you. We'll get to look at your story arc. And fortunately, there's a very happy ending. But she also had done a lot of research and got interested in the whole Reno reset. And she's also going to be interviewing Angela. So hopefully we are going to have I want to tell you something funny, Daniel. Daniel, is it Twet or Tweet? I'm so sorry. Daniel T. Sounds a lot cooler that way. So hopefully we're going to have a pretty good write-up in Westward. But she told me, in all fairness, she's going to be interviewing all sides of this story. And I said, you're a reporter. I expect you to do that. So, it's hopefully it'll be fairer than some of the other things out there. But I sent her a bunch of links, and we'll see when it comes out. And I'm not sure who else she's going to be interviewing. I know on the LP side, it's at least me and Angela. The story is going to be a lot more focused, I think, on me more than the LP, because I'm a Colorado resident and this is a Colorado paper. So obviously they're going to be interested in the story of the local girl, type thing. But what I was going to tell you that was funny, Daniel, now I forgot. I was going to tell you. So Daniel, because you had said about a documentary, that my story would make a good documentary. One day I am going to write a book. But I was joking the other day. I was dealing with some affiliates and their bylaws, not going to mention who, it doesn't matter. And JJ, if you're here in chat, if you're here in chat, I'm going to be quoting you, and I'm not going to be calling you a douche. JJ, we were chatting back and forth, and he said they really need to fix their bylaws. And I'm like, that's going to be the subtitle, I think, of my little mini history on the LP. Whatever. Subtitle. They really need to fix their bylaws. Because that seems to be the theme, doesn't it, lately? Oof. Those bylaws, though. Oof. For the love of sweet baby Jesus in a manger, every single one of you out there, when you're forming your bylaws committees, please put on it or retain, it's not that much money, a parliamentarian to fix your bylaws. Please. And even though I think the Colorado ones are really good, probably one of the best ones in the country. Yeah, those weren't the ones you and I were talking about, JJ, weren't that bad. But you and I have seen some bad ones. You know, we're not the ones we were talking about recently, but we've seen some bad ones. Stephen, and we weren't talking about yours. Though Stephen and I are going to be having a bylaws chat, but I wasn't even referring to yours. I found some errors now in Colorado's that need to be fixed. Like, for instance, you know, for some reason, I've kind of become somewhat an authority on removing officers. I don't know how I gained this expertise, but I apparently am very conversant in Robert's Rules of Order and, in removing officers. And then when I went and read Colorado's, I was like, because the terms of office are the way they're described in the Colorado bylaws, we are not entitled to due process. I say we, I'm not an officer anymore, but when I discovered it, I was. But I would hope that LPCO would give any of its board members due process. I would hope any libertarian would do that. But strictly speaking, our bylaws do not require it. I haven't seen any LPNH tweets today. I should go look at them because they're usually spicy. There was some really good national ones that I've been retweeting and getting good traction on. So, e-meetings. That's what's going on. Please come to our e-meetings because in the motion, I'm requiring public comment. Gone are the days where there's no public comment. I should have put in the motion that the chat will remain open too. I didn't think of that. It says for number 5 in this motion, excuse me, I drank some soda too fast. Each meeting will have an opening period for public comment. All right, so that motion passed. Let's look at what else is going on. All right, other motion is to change the contact form. You may or may not be aware. I should have dug out some old minutes. Do you want to know why we have a contact form to begin with to make it easier to contact the LNC? You want to know whose motion that was about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago? Just take a wild guess. Who actually wanted to make it easier for members to contact the LNC? I have no, yeah, right, that was me. That was my motion. This was 2 LNCs ago. Got some resistance to that. I do not understand why elected people don't want to hear from members. But anyway, I'm not going to go back in the past. That's not going on this term. I can assure you of that. And Frankstein Wrong Thinker. I don't have access to the LP Twitter because I probably, they know I'm a social media whore. I'd follow everybody. They do follow me though. They weren't following me before. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, I can't give you the follow. So the contact form. When the contact form was originally conceived by me and implemented, it had, you could send an email to a specific LNC member. You could send it to all officers. You could send it just to your regional, that sort of thing. And then there was a box for email the entire LNC. Because like for things on resolutions and things like that, sometimes you just want to contact your regional rep or officers or whatever. But sometimes you want to contact the entire LNC. You would think when you hit the contact the entire LNC box, I mean, what would you think would happen? I would think, I know this might be really unreasonable, I would think that you would actually be contacting the entire LNC. But somehow last term, that changed. You can no longer just hit a button and contact the entire LNC. When you try to contact the entire LNC using the current contact form, the only people you end up contacting are your regional rep, if you put your state in the contact form, and if you don't, that's one less person that gets contacted. All of the at-larges and the officers. That's not the entire LNC. So there's a motion right now that says, it's my motion, move for the appropriate staff to change the contact form to include actually emailing the entire LNC and removing the option that limits it automatically to only officers at large and the member's own I almost said region. Proviso. It is understood that we are short-staffed. This is not to interrupt other time-sensitive tasks, but have a goal to be done by our next in-person meeting at the end of July. I didn't want to burden staff. This obviously isn't as important as some other things. If you guys want a list of all of the physical email addresses of everyone on the LNC so you can contact them, I can get that for you. Actually, I might have this right. I don't think chat will let me post this. You should keep this handy until the form is fixed so that you can actually contact the entire LNC. I think this might be too many characters for the chat. Hold on. Restream chat. Let's see. There you go. Copy that. That's the email address for everyone on the LNC. If you ever want to contact the entire LNC, you have them all. Why is it doing it twice? That's weird. It's doing it as Pink Flame of Liberty and Restream. I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand these programs. Well, this way you can copy it twice, I guess. It looks like the Restream one is complete. The one that was done through YouTube, it fed it. Oh, I know why. Because it's looping it. The one that says Restream reply that's on the screen, that's the entire list. Anyway, you can email me if it didn't come through properly. Yeah. On the screen, it has them all. Email me if you want the entire list. I'll send it to you. So you can actually email the entire LNC until that form gets fixed. So that's likely to pass. And I think that, so Friday Hangouts. There used to be, and this kind of got started during lockdowns. I really don't know how popular this would be right now. And Mr. Universe says Twitter has the more complete list. And again, I can email that to you. But we started doing these Friday night happy hours particularly for the people who are in the really restrictive states so that they could hang out with a bunch of libertarians. Alex Flores was really faithful at opening up the hangout room even after, I don't know if, everyone's out of lockdowns now, but I don't know how popular they are now, but members were asking if we're going to continue this. We're working out a schedule where LNC members will each take a particular Friday, and let's see how it goes. Obviously, there wasn't one today, but we'll see. So that is something else that's on the email list. We are electing our EPCC, which is Employment Policy forgot what the CC is. It's Employment Policy and Compensation Committee. That ballot ends on the 21st. We're working on our SWOT. Now, some people were asking what SWOT stood for, and now I'm forgetting. It's strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I believe. So it's this 4-quadrant thing that you list your strengths, then your weaknesses, then your opportunities and trouble. I forgot what the T stood for. Hold on one second. SWOT Wikipedia, I think it. SWOT analysis. So we're using that, and yeah, threats. It is threats. I just don't like that word. That sounds really threatening, but it's strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So under strength and weaknesses, which is the first 2 squares, those come from within. Those are of internal origin, and then external origin is the opportunities and threats. So Angela has us working on that so that we can have a strategic plan for this term, which we didn't have last time. I guess we found out 2 days after I was elected, the strategic plan is how shall we get rid of the secretary. So I'd say maybe their strategic plan was successful. Well, at least successful until it got voided out at convention. Oopsie. Okay. All right, I think that's it that's been going on. We're waiting to see where the meeting is going to be at the end of July. It is going to be in the D.C. area. I don't have any further news on new staff. And I'm just going to see if there's any questions. Otherwise, Wayne is expecting me for dinner. Oh, God, I was laughing so hard. Oh, I'm rewatching, and it was for the Westward interview. She wanted certain timestamps and things for certain events and convention. So I'm rewatching the convention where my secretary results were announced. And you have to listen really closely. So my camera is like all out of focus right now. See that? I got to fix the settings on this program. I'm sorry that it's very blurry. I thought I had it set. Oh my God, that's terrible. Anyway, I was in focus before, but I'm not in focus now. Maybe if I do that and pull it. Yeah, it's focusing a little, whatever. Stop looking at it, Karen Ann. Look, a bird. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so if you go and look at the convention video where my results are being announced and listen really, really carefully, there's some guy in the back of the room going, Wayne, shut the door. Wayne is famous. Wayne is famous. Thank you so much for the super chat, Hayden. And birds are not real. I need a birds aren't real sign back here. But you're absolutely correct. Birds aren't real. God, I am so I'm more in focus if I sit back here. So I'm waiting to see if there's any questions or anything you guys have for me. Otherwise, that's going to be it for tonight. What's coming up? History stuff, obviously. We've got to get through May, June of 1974. And Libertarian 2A Society, thank you very much. This is a wall in my basement. It's not, some people thought this was a blue screen. It's not. This is actually the wall in my basement. I do have a blue screen here that a patron bought me. Yeah, I got a really nice blue screen that I use. I used it in that one where I dressed up like a communist. Yeah, that was my blue screen in the back there. It's actually green screen, not a blue. Is it a blue screen? No, it's a green screen, which I sometimes have problems with because I have green eyes, and sometimes it hollows my eyes out. That was a tangent. That's what we call a tangent. So just waiting to see if any questions on anything, and then we will get going. And I'm going to be eating dinner. But, you know, I am going to do a whole show like this, I think, one time. You know what I might do this for? This weekend, I can't promise, but I'm hoping to do a live review of that neoliberal show where Henchman and Craig appeared. I haven't listened to it. I haven't watched anyone's review of it. I want to do it live. I want to give you my contemporaneous reactions. And unfortunately, Latina, I am not coming to PorkFest. Job. Basically, I need to earn my filthy lucre first. And even though I probably could have swung it just for myself, I can't really justify leaving Wayne behind this time. He always has to stay home, and we just couldn't do it for both of us. So, yeah. So hopefully this weekend we will be going over, from what I understand, that quite terrible show that most people said they couldn't even get past the first 15 minutes. Oh, I'll get through it all right. Mama will get through it. And I'd love to have you guys here when we do that. All right, I'm going to get going. Wayne made artichokes. And that's delicious. Artichokes and sausage. So that sounds really, really good. I did do my updated Patreon closer, and then I got the new patron past couple days. So I have to update it again. Again, if you can assist at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty, I would really, really appreciate it. This is my job right now. And if you enjoy the content, tip your bartender, I guess. All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome night. And I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you, Hannah. Oh, right. I'm going to answer the question before we go. Because what did I think of the Reason TV video about Heist? I haven't actually watched the video yet. I've watched portions of it. So I can't give a complete opinion of it. I read the piece. I didn't watch the entire video. But the article, I wasn't particularly... The article was meh. The article... I don't know why Gillespie has a hard-on now all of a sudden for covering the LP. When, like, in the past, we could barely get them to mention us. Now, I know Nick Gillespie, but I'm good friends with Brian Dougherty. And I know Matt Welch. I've been disappointed in Gillespie's, or Gillespie. God, I'm so bad with names. You guys know that. I haven't been too terribly thrilled with his take on this. So Hayden says the most interesting question asked Heist didn't make the main piece he asked about Amash versus Dave. Oh, I am planning on watching it. I'll tell you why I haven't watched it yet. I'm actually re-listening to the 2020 online convention. Oh my God, that was so painful because I want to get the clip that started the meme. I want to get the clip of me saying Wayne shut the door for the very first time. And I don't remember what day I said that on, so I got to re-listen to this entire convention. I'm halfway through the second day. And I've got some really good clips of Nick going, "Yes, Miss Harlos," which are good. So I'm going to try to do like a mix of all of these just various sound clips I get from meetings. So I'm trying to find the Wayne shut the door. So that's why I haven't been able to watch any videos lately, because I'm listening to this entire convention. And it was painful the first time. It's even more painful the second time. But the article... how many times are you going to, without context or without proper explanation, just keep repeating the same tired, oh, New Hampshire's tweets hurt my feelings, talking points, and they deleted the irrational and repugnant language, without like really getting into the fact that we put in stronger language that actually says something, and without getting into the fundamental backdrop of the Reno reset. Sure, you can go back 5 years for when Joshua first ran, but what accelerated the Reno reset? And again, I said this last show, and I said, you guys can bring me down a peg or two if you think I'm making myself much too important in this story, but I'm going to tell you my honest opinion was the flashpoint of my exposing of the corruption. That accelerated. But for that, I am not so sure there would have been a clean sweep in Reno. Maybe there would have been, but I'm just giving you my honest opinion. The corruption and then my removal for exposing the corruption. Reason never even mentions that. Like, they kind of hint at what happened in New Hampshire without really getting how utterly that exposed a rot in the party. They don't go over how New Hampshire led to Delaware, led to Massachusetts. Like, all of that is glossed over. But that is the linchpin. Like, there was a buildup. Obviously, Heiss and the Mises Caucus laid this foundation. They laid down the firewood, but it was waiting for the spark. And the exposure of the corruption and my removal, I firmly believe, was the spark that ignited all of the groundwork that they did. That's a good idea, Angela on Tim Pool Watch Party. But I don't want to take away from, no, I'm not going to do that, Tyler, because I don't want to draw audience here. Like, I want all the direct audience to be there. I want Tim to be encouraged to have more libertarian guests. But if Reason was really interested in doing like thorough pieces on this, they would not leave out the most recent critical part of the story. And you want to know what? Yeah, I know it's super sexy to talk about, white supremacy and Nazis and all that. But you want to know what? It's also super sexy to talk about corruption and removing whistleblowers. So it just smacks to me of an agenda on Nick Gillespie's part. Now, I could be completely unfair. Again, I don't have the relationship with him that like I have with Brian Dougherty, who I'm super, super fond of, and could pick up the phone as he knows, like if he needs to clarify anything going on in the LP, he just picks, he can get me on the phone in 2 seconds. I don't have that relationship with Nick, but the stories are hollow because they're missing how utterly bad the last LNC was. Yeah, and Hayden says, leaving out the fake assault. There's it's all about this manufactured outrage of laying out the welcoming mat for bigots, which is, it's libelous. Now, when I say that word, I'm not saying it like in a legally actionable way. I'm not accusing Reason Magazine of enabling technical legal libel, because I don't believe in defamation laws at all to begin with. But even if I did, when you're dealing with public figures and political parties, there's nothing that's been said that's actionable. At least I don't think so, but I don't believe in that as a cause of action to begin with. I'm meaning it more in the colloquial sense of just bad-mouthing people. And it just seems like that's the agenda that's being pushed forward. Without, listen, if you want to talk smack about Mises and say all these allegedly bad things, why aren't you putting out all of the really allegedly bad things, and I'm saying allegedly for both sides, that caused all of this to happen? Why are you only talking about, they were woke? Yeah, they were, but why are you making it like that was all? That was all it was about a progressive takeover of the LP, and this was the counter-revolution. That is true. But that's not all. There was corruption. Like, there was a complete selling out of libertarian principles, like JJ mentioned earlier, of due process and our words violence, and like so much more to the story. So I probably gave you more even than you... I didn't actually answer your direct question, Hayden, because I haven't watched the video, but I think I gave you a bit of my perspective on the piece in general. But I will watch the video after I'm done listening to the 2020 convention, because I'm really forcing myself to do that because it's just so painful. All right. Any other questions before I get going? I'd be glad to answer them. That's what these weekly-ish shows are going to be. For you guys just to, know what's going on with the party and, ask whatever questions that you'd like. All right. So I think that's it. I am now going to go, stuff my face with some artichokes, and we will get going. And I'll see you all probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a